Yes, I'm wearing pajama pants. Don't judge me. So something that I thought I would do during this week is talk about little concepts regarding people of color, and I want to do sort of like mini discussions because I feel like I'm too scared to do actual discussion videos, and I feel like my ideas and thoughts aren't really well fleshed out yet anyway. So I thought throughout the course of this week, whenever I think of a discussion idea or something that I just have an opinion on, I will share it with you. So something I've noticed recently is that Black authors and writers seem to only be able to write about being Black for them to be regarded as an author or a writer. This needs to change. Stat. To think that just for them to be regarded as a good author or writer, or just to be accepted as an author, they have to write about the Black experience. They have to write about what they know. They have to write about racism. They have to write about some sort of like police brutality sort of thing. They have to write about, you know, things that Black people are known for. It's really annoying to think that Black authors and Black writers, or just Black people in general, kind of have to be stuck in this sort of box where they can't explore other parts of themselves, because they are not only Black. That is not all that they are. Okay, they could be a woman, you know, they could have different things going for them that they want to write about. And it's really obvious to me that when a Black author or Black writer decides to write about romance, or maybe they'll do a sci-fi, or maybe they'll do like some murder mystery, I don't know, whatever it is that they decide to write about that isn't about what they know, like racism, it isn't regarded. It isn't regarded as much as everything else. And I'm not saying that it's bad for Black authors to write about racism and police brutality. That is fine. That's perfectly fine. What I'm saying is that Black authors and writers should be able to write about anything that they want and still be able to be regarded with the same type of importance that other writers have, because they write about whatever it is that they want and they still have the same amount of popularity. They just shouldn't only be regarded as Black authors, because there's just so many other aspects to being a person other than your race or your ethnicity. But that's just the tea. Okay, so a month or so ago, I think, I was at Walmart, and at Walmart, I was like going through the book section, just like walking through, you know, as you do, and I saw that there was an African American section, and it had a bunch of books by African American authors. And at the time, I was more confused than anything as to why there was an African American section. And I was like thinking about it after that, and I was like, you know, like just on the fence about whether or not I felt like mad at it, or like if I felt like it was like a good thing to have. But then I thought about it even more, and now I definitely feel like I'm against it. That's because I noticed that I have a lot more reasons to be against it than I do to be for it. I think the only other time I've seen something like this where books were organized not in like genre or maybe like author sometimes is the not Latino section, but the Spanish speaking section, where it was like Spanish books or books written in Spanish. Like copies of books written in Spanish. I don't know why I couldn't figure that out, but anyway, yeah, that's the only other time I've seen something like this. So I almost sort of feel like it's not malintentioned, at least I would hope it's not malintentioned. I'd like to think that the people who decide to, you know, do that have good intentions. Maybe they think that the books will sell more because of that, or things of that sort. So I get the reasoning behind supporting that, and I get the reasoning behind having a designated section. But at the same time, here's my problem with it. I feel like it's sort of taking the problem and trying to use it to form the solution, if that makes sense. Because the reason why you know, people of color are at such a disadvantage is because of, you know, isolation and segregation in general. And so now it's like we're still segregating, but now we're segregating our fiction. I just feel like unless people are actively looking to read books by African American authors, having a section dedicated specially towards them wouldn't help, if you get what I mean. I just feel like it's more likely that the people who aren't African American or the people who aren't of the race that the section is dedicated towards are gonna be the ones that are gonna feel like, oh, I'm not black, so, you know, these books aren't for me, if you get what I mean. Sort of just feeling like the books are written exclusively by black people for black people. They're gonna see it as more of that instead of something that's like, oh, like this is here for you to broaden your reading scope. You know, making it easily available for you to see that there's more to whatever genre that you read. Putting books together regardless of genre by ethnicity or race is kind of helping authors but also not helping them, and also for readers it's like helping them but also not helping them. Okay, so I am very used to the idea that black people have to work twice as hard to reach the same shared goals as everyone else. I know it's a thing, I've regarded it. It's fine. Well, it's not fine, but it's something that I've noticed exists, and it's something that I know happens. And it's sad to say that BookTube is no different. So let's talk about how I feel being black on BookTube. So let me just start off by saying that representation is so important. Something that I truly wish that the bigger booktubers would do, or like the original booktubers or whatever it is you want to call them, you know who I'm talking about. I wish that they would talk more about the problematic aspects of BookTube. I wish that they would talk more about the things that BookTube can fix or the things that BookTube can improve on, because they don't really do that. And I feel like those are the people that bring, more times than not, those are the people that bring other people, you know, outside people to BookTube, because they're the bigger booktubers. They're more likely to be suggested and, you know, to watch or whatever, things like that. I was watching the big booktubers for, I want to say, like maybe a year or so before I realized that there were black booktubers. I literally had never seen a black booktuber. And yes, I totally understand it is their platform, it is their channel, they can do whatever they want, they can say whatever they want, like that's completely up to them, that's fine. I'm not, you know, shading them or anything like that. But at the same time, I just wish that at some point they had made a video about diversity, or like if they had linked, literally one time, if they had linked a black booktuber, it feels good to see someone that you can identify with. It feels good to see someone that's like you, someone you can relate to on more aspects than just your hobbies. So it's kind of weird to say that it's taken a little while for us to come to this discussion aspect of talking about how BookTube isn't represented as being diverse. BookTube is pretty diverse, I will say that, but you kind of have to search for it. I just feel like black booktubers don't get represented as more often than other booktubers do. And that is not the fault of other booktubers, that is literally just the system. But at the same time, I don't see why it can't be changed. I see that we are self-aware, at least a little bit self-aware. I see that we notice it, but at the same time, it seems like we like to talk a lot. Diversity, diversity, we love diversity, go diversity! But then when push comes to shove, where's the diversity? Where's the representation? I feel like at one point I've heard someone say, probably someone really like important and profound, has said that words without actions are meaningless. And I feel like some people are going to say that race isn't the issue here. There are all other aspects, you know, that aren't being taken into account, that are a result of why there is no big black booktuber, or why no black booktubers have above 100,000 subscribers as, you know, their white counterparts do. The numbers are already there, and to a certain extent you can kind of almost ignore the lack of representation in booktube. You can almost kind of just like get by just not really seeing it. But then things like BookCon come up where you see pictures like this and you think, huh, that's interesting. Or you see that there was a news article written about booktube on the New York Times, which is insane. But then you see the people who are representing the face of booktube, and you kind of think to yourself, huh, this isn't the booktube I know, but it's interesting. I just think it is so important for there to be a seat at the table. Like Christina Marie said, I really like the way she phrased that. But what does that mean exactly? You know, to make a seat at the table. What can you do as a viewer, or what can I do as a booktuber? So here's what I'm gonna do. So Christina Marie created a spreadsheet of a bunch of black booktubers, and I think it's not only booktubers, but I think like bloggers or bookstagrammers, just all black and bookish people, and it has all of their links and stuff like that. So I think I'm gonna leave the link to that spreadsheet down below. Also, if you are somehow, some way a publisher, I don't know how you've come across this video, but if you are, there is this girl on Twitter that created a spreadsheet also of a bunch of black booktubers, book bloggers, bookstagrammers, and it's for publishers only. So like, unfortunately, a viewer can't get their hands on that spreadsheet. But if you are a publisher looking to diversify, then I will also leave her down below. I'm pretty sure you have to like DM her and like ask for it and all that good stuff. Also, I recently took part in POC-A-THON, and I did a bunch of research on books written by people of color or authors of color, and I did a bunch of research on science fiction books written by black authors. So I am going to leave all of my research down below, and it is a lot. So editing Sarah, have fun with that. So this is me just urging you to take a look at all of the resources that I have given you. You literally can't say that you don't know how to get it. You don't know how to go through and find these things, because they're all there. Also, I'm going to leave a bunch of links to a bunch of discussion videos about diversity in booktube, or about racial diversity in booktube. I'm also going to leave a few links of my personal favorite black booktubers, and there's a lot of them. So editing Sarah, I really hope you have fun with that. It's really crazy to think that black booktubers have been talking about this problem for years, literal years, and barely any progress has been made. If at any point you felt a certain way about things that I said at all in this entire video regarding any of the topics, whether you agree with me or you disagree, let's have a conversation in the comments. I genuinely want to know what every single person thinks. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you gained some insight from it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!